Okay, hi everyone. Welcome. Thank you for being here. So good to see you. So this is part of Climb Your Everest nonprofit leadership skills series. And so we've had 15 sessions so far. I think this is session number 16. All the sessions are recorded and available on YouTube. So if anyone wants access to a specific topic that we talked about, and I've been emailing you all the sessions so far, you can always reach out to me. My email is Sara, S-A-R-A, at climbYourEverest.org. So for today's sessions, we want to give an overview of some of the leadership skills that we talked about, kind of summarize them. We haven't talked about them in this series, but since we had a in-person session in Kathmandu, Nepal, some of you participated in that session and heard about them, and for some of you might be new and you never heard about them. But overall, feel free to raise your hand and ask your questions or add new topics and anything else you want to learn about. I want the class to be interactive and collaborative, so all of you can give us input and talk to each other and exchange ideas. Okay. So the first thing we want to say is that why do you think leadership skills are important for teachers? Some of you are teachers, some of you are educators, some of you have want to be teachers in the future, and some of you are just using leadership skills to find better jobs, get promotion, be a better communicator at work, right? So how you can use this. For those of you who are teachers, number one thing that comes to my mind is effective classroom management, right? So you can create a positive, engaging learning environment, right? You learn how to manage your classroom effectively, efficiently, establish clear expectation, foster a sense of respect and cooperation among students, right? When you're a good leader, you want to kind of invite your students and people around you to be leaders, to learn how to do the best, the thing that they're good at the most, and you want to lead them to be future leaders, right? Or let's say for those of you who are not teachers, we have a couple of people here who are not teaching, right? Then how do you use these leadership skills, right? In the environment, in the work environment, if you have a job, in a school environment, even in your household, in your own family, right? Being a better communicator, create an environment for collaboration and engagement. That's something that everybody can do, either a classroom, at work, at home, right? It's good for everyone. The number two benefit that comes to my mind is role modeling, right? Like teachers with strong leadership skills serve as positive role models for students. And if you're not a teacher, you can be a role model for your siblings, for your cousins, for your neighbors. And if you have a job, then that could be that could impact your people that you work with, your co-workers, right? So you can inspire and motivate people around you to reach their full potential by demonstrating qualities such as integrity, empathy, resilience, right? And being a leader means you are practicing everything that you're preaching, right? So, and you know, people around you that look at you as a role model, that will have your behavior can have a lasting impact on people around you, your students, if you have a students, or at home with your family, right? And will help them to develop themselves and grow. Another benefit of learning leadership skills as a teacher is that you can create collaborative problem solving, right? You can empower collaboration in your classrooms between your colleagues, even in the place that you work, between administrators, the stakeholders. other teachers in the school, right? Everybody that work in your work environment. You can empower people to share their ideas, share their insight. You can impact shaping policies and curriculum development at your school or teaching methodologies, right? Through effective communication, teamwork, influence positive changes in the educational system at your school. So as a leader, you can definitely impact your classrooms, your school, and as a result, your community, the families, right? Everyone around you. And of course, you are developing yourself professionally, right? When you're working on your own leadership skills, you are becoming better, growing, developing, right? And when you're growing, you're really taking ownership for your own growth, which as a role model for your students learn to be more engaged, to grow, to be open to change, right? And be open to continuous learning, seek opportunities, right? And I think it is very important for teachers, everybody actually, to stay updated with the current research, everything, all the practices that is happening. That's why in this series, in these sessions that we have every Saturday, I kind of try to invite different speakers, new speakers who've been who had research or worked for an extensive time in the specific topic that they're talking about. So Saturday morning, this morning, we had a professor from Australia, from University of Queens, and she was talking about classroom collaboration and how to increase classroom collaboration. So I recorded the session for Saturday morning, and I'm gonna email it to you. So if you're a teacher, I want you to for sure watch that video, because all of you here and there send me messages, send me emails, and you say you want to increase classroom collaboration, more engagement, more participation, right? So definitely watch the video for this morning. And the last thing that we want to finish with, like the impact that why is it important for teachers to learn leadership skills, is that advocacy for students. When you learn leadership skills, teacher can become advocates for your students and address their needs, right? Effectively. You can identify and address educational challenges, promote inclusivity, and ensure equal access to quality education, right? And this advocation, learning how to advocate, I think it contributes to create a more equitable, supportive environment in your classroom. So, I mean, I can go on and on and on about how important it is for you to learn leadership skills, but kind of this is like a small summary. I think learning leadership skills enhances your teaching effectiveness, positive influence for your students, for yourself, for families, for communities, and increased collaboration between you, other teachers. It drives positive change in your educational system. Because I remember last time we had an in-person session, the time before last time, a lot of you were telling me about how you want to change educational system in Nepal, right? So by developing your leadership skills, you become leaders in educational system, and then you can change the educational system by empowering other professionals to create and make a significant impact on the lives of other students. And eventually, little by little, we can make the future of education in Nepal better and better and better, right? It's small change happens in very small pieces. So I want all of you to be very patient about it. Okay, all right, so that's why we are doing everything that we are doing, okay? So now I want to share with you the slides so I can get everybody's help, especially Amrita and Prakriti, who've been in this session and they've already taught these sessions with this slide. Can everybody see the slides? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. All right, so we want to start from the number one thing that is important for you is having high self-confidence, high self-esteem. So we had one session a few weeks ago specifically on self-confidence and self-esteem, which I recorded it and I send you the video. So if you want to know more about how to increase your self-confidence and self-esteem, is I recommend you go to your emails, watch that recording on YouTube, and kind of that was an extensive an hour and a half session specifically on this topic. But if you kind of been in the session, today is just a review of that session. Okay, so Amrita, do you want to start from this one?
Yes, ma'am, sure.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you so much, ma'am, Sarah ma'am, for giving me this chance to share my opinions and views or information or learning that I have taken this session before. And we shared this on Jolbiri also. And that was very amazing moment. So hello, everyone. It's me, Amrita Dhakal from Bhaktapur. I'm working as a teacher plus vice principal of Romos National School. Recently, I have been promoted as a vice principal. And first of all, that credit goes to this session, this workshop. Thank you, Sarah ma'am, because this kind of workshop had empowered me a lot. And obviously, it's our leadership skill class. So with a leading power, because of my leading power, I got promoted. And thank you so much, Sarah ma'am.
I'm so
So
proud of you
thank
for
you, ma'am.
everything you've done. Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
So here are some 10 ways to improve self-esteem. Self-esteem means the power of on you that we might don't know that we have some power on ourselves, but sometimes we may get confused that we can do that thing or not. It means that we are not believing on ourselves. So here are some points or techniques how to improve our self-esteem. It is called Atmabal in Nepali, Atmabal. So first step is that stop comparing yourself with others. So we people are being a Nepali, in Nepal also, we have a habit to compare ourselves with others. We always look good on others, but we go backward to see what is our goodness on us. So stop comparing ourselves with others. So just try to see good things on you. Okay, so you can for that you can stand near to your mirror and you can say you are brilliant, you are very good, you are talented, you are awesome. So for that you can say like this to empower yourself. So next is that compliment yourself regularly. Just now I said compliment this. If someday you have done very good things, you have to say, wow, well done to ourselves. And you can do, we say that butterfly clap to ourselves, because if we have done something good on some day, then at that time, at that moment, at that day, we can thank to ourselves. So next is exercise consistently, means frequently. You have to exercise some things that regularly to improve your self-esteem. Only one day is not enough to improve your self-esteem. So you have to keep on doing those things regularly, continuously. And next thing is you never stop smiling, because smile is your greatest power to improve yourself. So even if we are going through the bad situation someday, at that moment also, if we have power to smile in front of others, then that would be our great benefits to us, because smile is our great weapon to fight against something. So next is focused on your accomplishment, means your, please go on.
What happened? Rita, what happened?
Hello, sorry. Sorry, ma'am.
Go ahead.
I got disturbed from my son, so I said. Okay, I'm on next point. Focused on your accomplishment means it is called upalabdhi in our Nepali. So, what is our accomplishment of our life? So we have to focus that what do we want in our life? What we actually want in our life? We have to just focus on that. And next thing is get the support you need. Ask for help. Sometimes we may need support or suggestions or any kind of suggestions. At that time, we just want to wish or will to get the support of others to get some more ideas and knowledge. If we are getting some kind of what to say that help or support from other, at that time we can ask to our colleagues or friends or our seniors. And next thing is make a list of your positive qualities. Okay, sometimes what we do is that we just forget what are the things that our good qualities on us. So for that, what we can do is we can make a short list or 5 to 10 list that what kind of good things on you. You have to copy down, note down on your copy, like what is good on you. Like some people have smiling habit and politeness, or your confidence level, your speaking, your reading, writing, what kind of good things on you. You just need to copy down on your notebook. So if you see that good things on you, that makes you more energized every day and empowered every day, looking at those best qualities of you. And next thing, explore a passion means it is called lagav in Nepali. So why we are being a teacher is why I am a teacher is because teaching is my passion, is because I do my teaching from my heart. Because I have done teaching from my heart. If you have a passion on your profession, then only you can give your best every day. Otherwise, if we are doing your job forcefully, then you can give your best each day. So explore or show your passion every time that you are loving your profession or whatever job you do. And next thing is treat yourself to something nice. Always treat you that you are really an amazing woman. You are leading your family, you are leading your profession, you are a real role model of your parents or a teacher, sorry, your students. So always treat that you are a good person of the whole world.
Great.
I hope I got I did justice to my this slide. I sorry if I did something wrong. I apologize.
You did great. You did great. Thank you, Amrita. Okay, great. So there are other techniques as well. Is there anyone who wants to add to this? Like, is there other techniques you use yourself at home for your students, for your school, that's the way you kind of help the students or yourself or other colleagues or your friends or your family to help them improve their self-esteem? Is there any other technique that you use you want to share with us? Anyone? Yes, Sapana says have positive thoughts. That's great. Yes, thank you, Sapana. Any other person wants to add to this? Any other technique you use? No? Okay. If you could think of anything else, you can always type in the chat box or raise your hand or unmute yourself and tell everyone so that everyone can benefit from a technique that you practice and you're good at. Okay? So think about it. All right. So I want to show you something which is kind of shows the power of imagination, power of visualization. Let me just give me a second. I'm just going to get it from here. It's right here. Okay, this is my vision board. Look at it. It's huge, it's big. So when we had an in-person workshop, look, when we had an in-person workshop, I asked everyone to make a vision board for themselves, right? So we got a lot of pictures and we all got a sheet of paper, and we put pictures that was important for us or in our future, and we wanted to envision it for ourselves and our lives. We put it on this big. So mine is pretty big. I want all of you in your classroom to create a vision board with your students. Or if you're an educator, if you have access to other people, sit down together with your friends. It doesn't even have to be a classroom, with your own friends. Sit down together and create a vision board for yourself. What are your plans in the future? What are the things you want to have, your goals in different areas of your life, right? So I kind of, if I want to sit down and explain, like imagine I have some vegetables here. Like vegetables are, well, for me, it is a symbol of healthy eating, not eating like fried food all the time, right? Healthy eating, right? Or I have here, you see a big group of people, which I want to be able to speak in front of big groups of people and create that for my speaking business, right? This is, you see a piece of rock here, which is kind of a jewelry, but this is a symbol of abundance. Like I want to be able to have abundance in my life, right? And you see a lot of nature, like nature, mountain climbing, a lot of nature pictures up here even. So these are the places that I like to be and explore and visit, right? You see a lot of mountain climbing pictures. So I want you to kind of think about it and see if that's an exercise you can do with your friends, with your family, in your classrooms, to create vision boards and kind of think about what your students can vision for themselves, for their future. So that's kind of another topic that when you come to the in-person session, we're going to do together.
Yes, sorry, ma'am. I applied these techniques to my students, and I took these slides to the 11th standard students also, and they really enjoyed. And my students also applied, and they made and that's in the chart paper, and just they showed in their room and in the classroom also. And I'm very happy that they applied that.
That's great. Do we have anyone else who has done their vision board? I think Prakriti, you've done your vision board as well, right?
Yes, I have my vision board in my bedroom, and every morning I can see, and it gives me positive affirmation.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Anybody else with vision board? Or you're planning to make a vision board?
Yes, ma'am. I made it before last year, but I made it and I pasted it in my room. But now not. It's I don't know where it is gone. But I made it very nicely. My goals, my dreams, what I really want to do, like that with the picture I draw, like it was pasted in the room. But not now. It's finished up.
Good. That's beautiful. That's great. Okay. All right. Next thing we want to talk about, give yourself permission to take risks and make mistakes. Okay. Allow yourself to be a learner. Trust that it's okay not to be perfect. In fact, you'll likely provide inspiration to others in similar situations. So when we make mistakes and we still get up and continue on, and we fail and we get up and continue on, that becomes inspiration for others. So other people are like, oh, Prakriti failed, but she still got up and she still went back and she continued. So maybe I can do the same. So even when we take a risk and we fail, still that could be an inspiration for others and for us, because we're like, wow, I'm so powerful. I make mistakes and I still go back and try it again, right? You all remember my story of Everest. I was climbing Everest in 2015, right? And the earthquake happened, unfortunately, and it was very devastating and sad. And I had to go back home. I could not climb it. But then I came back 7 years after in 2022 and climbed it, even though everybody around me like, why do you go back? Just stop it. You don't have to go back. Why trying again? It's okay. Forget about it, right? Everybody. I still have to stand against so many people. Same for you. You might take a risk, do something crazy, and you fail, and then few years later, few months later, few days later, go back and visit it again and try one more time. So taking risk, it's scary, but you can be an inspiration to so many people. Even those who are exceptional in some areas of life are likely struggling in others. I might be very good at something, let's say mountain climbing or teaching, but there are some other areas that I need to work on. We are not supposed to be good at everything all the time, right? So we always have our own struggles, and that's just part of life. So even those struggles inspire others to do their best and take a risk and go out of their comfort zone. When breaking out of your comfort zone and starting something new, you're expanding your own limitations. When you successfully complete something that is out of your confidence zone, you are building confidence. So I remember I received a few emails a couple of weeks ago about how I can increase my self-confidence. When this is your answer, when you do something out of your comfort zone, then your confidence keeps increasing, because then you're telling yourself that, oh, I'm trying something new and I'm actually able to do it. And then your confidence keeps increasing. Okay, so that's your answer. All right, Prakriti, are you ready to explain communication skills for us?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Today we are going to learn here about communication skills. Here are 7 skills we are going to learn together. Number 1, facial expression. Facial expression plays a significant role in communication. If it will help to show you are confident or not. So here is one pie chart. You can see body language is 55%, words 7%, and 38% is tone of voice. So 55% here is second one is body movement and postures. So 55% plays significant roles in communication skills, that is body language. So if you while giving speech or while teaching towards your children, you have to maintain about your body language. You can straight, don't bow down your head. So straight in front, stand straight in front of the children, and you can communicate. And gestures, like while delivering your speech, your body gestures, you have to maintain your body gestures as well, like position while moving here and there, just you can show by your hand as well. So next one is icon.
Like when we do thumbs up, when we do the peace sign. Yes.
Yeah, thank you for reminding. Yeah, like you can communicate like giving thumbs up. Okay, like you can motivate your children. And next one is eye contact. Eye contact is also important. If we are communicating with our teachers or with our children, so we have to listen carefully and just straight we can do eye contact with them. If we are not looking in front of them, like we are looking here and there, it means we are not concentrating and focusing in someone. So while teaching or while delivering anything, so eye contact is also important in communication skills. Next one is thoughts. Most of the participants in our workshop, leadership workshop, are teachers. So while teaching to your children, you can you can inspire your children, motivate or guidance them by touching, like oh, if their handwriting is good, okay, if their handwriting is good, then you can motivate them by touching. Wow, your handwriting is very good, like that, in sense, by touching. Yes. And next one is space. Space is also matter in communication skills. So you can sometimes student may scared because you have to maintain space as well. So you can go near to your student and just you can say something. So it will help to them in communication. And next one is voice. As I already mentioned, 38% is voice. Yes, voice plays a great role in communication skill. So voice, like if you are shouting toward your children, they will scared and they will afraid and they will not share anything with you. And so feel free and create good environment to them. Speak politely with student, and you can raise voice. You can okay, literally you can say, if you have any problem, then you can raise your hand and you can ask me. So in this positive way, and voice plays significant role in communication. Thank you.
Thank you, Prakriti. That was good. Is there anything else that anyone else here wants to add? Like, communication skills is a big part of leadership skills, right? When we can communicate effectively, and either through our body, through our words, through our tone of voice. So I can tell you, let's learn leadership skills, or I can tell you, let's learn leadership skills, right? Which one would you listen more? Like, if I'm in your voice, you can hear the confidence. In your body posture, you can hear the confidence, right? I'm projecting my voice. For those of you who are teachers and you keep projecting your voice, right? You know the difference. It's a very different when you speak confidently or when you don't speak confidently and you're shy and you don't even make an eye contact. You're looking down, right? That makes a difference. Or your posture, your body. So communication is a big part of leadership. I think so. It's very important, especially for those of you who are teachers. This is what you do every day, right? And even not teachers, as a person who is practicing, who is working somewhere, as a student, we are communicating all the time, right? So this is a big part of it. I want to learn other techniques, or other people want to share about what they've learned from what Prakriti just said. Is there other things you do to be a better communicator? Anyone wants to add something?
Active learning.
When you listen properly, I think so.
Active
That is a good
learning.
option.
Yes, Jasmine said when you have a better listening skills, you are a better communicator. How about you? I think you said something, but you got disconnected. Chatterbuj, you got disconnected. I could not hear you well.
He
Active
said
learning.
Say it again.
Active learning.
Chatru say active learning.
Keep learning. Okay, Rohan said keep learning. Okay, good. Sorry you got disconnected. I could not hear you well. All right, anything else? Anyone else wants to add? No? Okay, great. So next thing we want to talk about is in communication, I think one thing that is important is the first impression. Like the first time you meet someone, that's a part of kind of communication skills. Like when you meet someone for the very first time, how you're impacting them, that has an impact in the way they look at you as a leader, right, in the future. So these are some of the summary of the techniques we talked about extensively when we talked about communication skills. We're gonna have in a couple of weeks, actually in July, we're gonna have a session specifically on communication skills. So then I invited a professor from France, and she teaches both in the US, but she works in France, and she's gonna be telling us about communication skills. So don't miss that session, because I think communication skill is a big part of leadership skills, right? Okay, be mindful of your body language and posture. Prakriti just told you all about posture and body language and how important it is. Second, modulate your pitch, tone of voice. Again, she explained how our tone of voice is important in the first impression. Let's say you go to a job interview, you're looking for a new job, right? You're not all gonna stay teachers forever, right? Eventually you're gonna get other jobs and go to a job interview. When the first impression, your posture and body language and tone of voice is important. Choose your words wisely. Of course, words are important. Dressing, the way you're dressing is important. Know your audience. Who's the person you're talking to? Who's the person you are interviewing, right? That's important. If you research about them beforehand, if you know them beforehand, if you know what they like and what they don't like, that will positively impact your experience. Come prepared. If you need to bring pen and papers, a printout of your CV, resume, be prepared. If you need to print out anything else, when you go to the job interview, the first impression is important. So be very prepared. Be authentic, be yourself. Don't pretend that you're somebody else. If you're gonna get a job in this new place, eventually they're gonna know who you are, right? So if you're not authentic, then you are kind of showing a fake version of yourself. Put your phone away, that's obvious. Make a connection. Try to find something similar with the other person. If the other person is wearing a yellow dress and you have a yellow dress, mention to them, this dress is beautiful. I have something very similar. It's gorgeous, right? So kind of create a connection. And don't forget to follow up. So you might meet a person, they might be busy and they might forget about you. That's okay. That's totally fine. They're busy. Keep emailing them, calling them, messaging them, follow up, follow up, follow up. Okay? Never forget following up. Never think, oh, I'm not important. That's why they forgot me. Okay? How many of you raise your hand? Either digital hand or physical hand. That you went for a job interview or you went for something and you didn't follow up, but if you had followed up, something good might have happened and you forgot to follow up because you thought, you know, I'm not important, they don't care about me, maybe I shouldn't, maybe they don't want to give me this job, right? We do this all the time. I've done it myself. Like I'm like, yeah, maybe they don't want to give me this job, so I'm not going to follow up. But if I had followed up, I might have got it, right? No one knows. So do we have any examples of you forgot to follow up? Anyone here?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead. What did you do?
It was the first experience of applying my teaching in other district of Nepal. So firstly, at that time, now also I'm recalling my confidence level at that time, because that place was my very new place. And firstly, I directly visited the principal, and I said he was just coming with his bike, and I just got him, and I said, sir, I need a job, is there any vacancy here in your school? I said like that, and he said, of course, you can bring application tomorrow and apply here, and we will tell you later, he said. And next day I applied, I gave application, And I came back, and within a week I didn't follow up, because I thought, oh, there might be so many people applying in that school, so how could I get the opportunity, or how could I grab that position? And I didn't follow up. But eventually at last week, then the school themselves called me, and they just called me, and they said that I'm selected, and I got that job, first job of the teaching.
Good, 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 good. That's good. That's great. Any other examples? No? Okay. All right. Let's move on. Next thing is, as Jasmine mentioned, is communication skills, right? Communication skills are very important. The listening skills is very important in communication skills, okay? So here we have some keys, which we kind of mentioned and talked about. But the number one thing that I've seen in Nepal, I've been in Nepal 11 times. The number one thing I say is asking questions. A big part of listening, the way I can tell you're listening to me right now is by asking questions and contributing, right? If you don't talk to me, I have no idea if you're listening or not, right? You might be watching a movie right now. I have no idea, right? So listening skills is by asking questions. So kind of, instead of going through these 7 steps, I want everyone here to ask a question about leadership skills. Everything that we covered so far until now, and if you're familiar with the rest of the slides, I want everyone to ask one question about leadership skills. Anything, it could be anything, okay? Think about it. You have a second, think about it. As I'm going through the wheel here from 1 to number 7, you have, let's say, 1 minute to think about what is the question you want to ask. And I'm going to call on every person here, all of you, to ask a question, okay? Because I figured, probably those of you who are teachers, you've seen it in your classrooms. When you told your students to ask a question, sometimes they're quiet, right? They don't ask questions. And I've seen it a lot. I kind of want to encourage asking more questions. So I'm going to start from you, so you can take it to your family, to your neighbors, to your aunts and uncle and grandpa and grandma and cousins, right? And encourage others to start asking questions. Okay, number 1, listen, in 7 keys of active listening skills is be attentive, be present, pay attention, make eye contact. Ask open-ended questions, like the questions that the answer is not just yes or no. It's open-ended. They can say whatever they want to say for how long. Number 3, ask probing questions, questions that encourage them, that is kind of, it empowers them, inspires them to talk even more about that topic. So probing questions. Remember, we're talking about listening skills, right? Listening skills. If you're a good listener, it means you let the other person really say everything they have on their heart and in their mind, because you're a good listener. So we're talking about listening, pay attention. I'm not saying you randomly go to people and encourage them to talk a lot. No, you are practicing to be a good listener. How can you practice? Is by asking questions. 4, request clarification. If something is not clear, say, Sarah, I didn't understand what you meant by this thing. Can you repeat it again? Ask for clarification. 5, paraphrase. So I say, these are the 7 techniques. You can paraphrase me. Say, okay, Sarah, you talked about the keys, the 7 keys of active listening. Number 1, number 2, number 3, and then number 7. Okay. So paraphrase means you repeat it back to me and tell me back. Number 6, be attuned to and reflect feelings. So if I look confident, show confidence. If I look sad, show sadness. If I look happy, show happiness. And number 7, summarize. So at the end of the conversation, when everything is finished and I'm done talking, say, okay, let me summarize what you just told me. You talked about self-confidence and self-esteem. You talked about communication skills. You talked about this, right? So summarize everything and give it back. Okay, so now it is time that your 1 minute is up. I hope everybody had a chance to think about what question you're gonna ask. And I'm gonna ask every person to come up with a question of communication skills. I'm gonna start with Rita. Ask a question about leadership skills, everything we covered today.
To you, ma'am. It is my question to you that why did you want to become a leading woman?
Okay, that's a good question. I'm not going to answer all the questions, but that's a good question. Good, good. Next, Jasmine, ask a question.
Ma'am, give me some time. I'll ask.
Okay.
I'll ask.
All right.
I have one more question I have regarding this active listening. May I ask?
Yes.
Yes. Ma'am, you said the paraphrase and the summarize, right? What is the difference between? Actually, this will look like a similar, I think so. I don't know, but just could you just brief me that?
Yeah. Paraphrase is, so that's a good question. Paraphrase is what you do in the middle. So as I'm speaking, I'm like, Jasmine, for breakfast today I had eggs. You're like, oh, eggs. So like you're paraphrasing, you're telling me in the middle of my speaking something that shows you're listening to me. But at the very end, you say, okay, Sarah, today you told me what you had breakfast, you had black tea and you had eggs and you had the toast. So summarize is at the end, you summarize everything. But paraphrase is in the middle. As I'm talking, you're giving it back to me, back to me, back to me.
Yeah, understood, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Or for example, you give it to me in different words. For example, I say I had this and this and this and this for breakfast, and you say, oh, paraphrase means you had a lot of things for breakfast, right? So I didn't use that word. You give it to me in a different word, but kind of the same thing, right? So it's kind of really, it is the same. Paraphrase is in the middle, summarize is all the way at the end. Okay. Prakriti, ask me a question about leadership skills.
I think this is our question as well. Like I'm going to ask you that what motivates you to become a leader?
Rita asked the same question. That's a good question. That's a very good question. Thank you. All right, Rabina.
Why, like, okay, next question then.
Oh, you have another. Okay.
Yeah, like you have never give up nature, right? So what things motivate you to become like that much positive person?
That's a very good question. My goals motivate me.
Okay, thank you.
Rabina, Sapana, Nita, do you want to ask me a question?
Ma'am.
Okay, you ready?
Shit, I don't know what my question is. My question is, ma'am, what was when you started the leadership skills, what was your first experience that when you start these skills?
That's a very good question as well. That's a very good question. Okay, so since I'm waiting for Rabina, Sapana, and Nita to ask me a question, so unmute yourself and ask a question. I'm going to start answering the questions that you asked me, so eventually we'll get them. So kind of your questions are very similar, all three of you. Like Rita asked me, see, I'm paraphrasing now. Rita asked me, how did you decide to become a leader, woman leader, right? Or a leader, right? So, and then Prakriti kind of asked, but what motivates you and why do you want to be a leader? And then Jasmine is asking, what kind of, how was the journey, the beginning of the journey for me when I decided to become a leader, right? So it's kind of the same. Okay, I see Sapana, do you want to ask your question? I saw you for a second. Or Rabina, do you want to ask your question?
I want to ask ma'am, there will be someone who motivates you to be a leader. I want to know that.
Okay. All right. Who's that person that is motivating me to be a leader? Okay.
Yes.
Question. Thank you. Sapana,
Hello, ma'am.
hi.
I have a different type of question, difference from others. I want to know that when you are leading someone, if they are not listening to you, then what types of technique you can apply so that you can target your audience about your thoughts or about what you are going to deliver them?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you're speaking to a group of people and they are not actually listening to you, how to encourage them to listen more?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this kind of goes back exactly to this slide, which is listening skills. So most of the people, they don't know about listening skills. They are not good at it. So you go talk to people and they don't even know how to listen to you. That's a lot of people, right? I don't know the exact percentage. So if I usually teach people how to listen, and then they start listening to me, or I tell them, this is what I'm expecting, right? So teach this slide to them, from your students to your colleagues, to even your family. Tell your family, okay, for our family, we need to be able to listen to each other. And I know some techniques that work, and I want to teach them to you so we can be a better family together, better classroom, better colleagues, co-workers, everything, right? And then work on this kind of, and then we are not supposed to be perfect at the beginning. Like Jeswin told me, how was my journey in the beginning? In the beginning, I was not good at anything. I didn't know how to do things. And then I made a lot of mistakes. Similar. So when you start teaching communication skills and active listening to others, they're not going to be good at it. They're going to be like, I don't know what you're talking about, right? They wouldn't understand you. And then you need to be very patient, little by little, teach them just a little at a time until they learn. Like the way some of you are moms, you have kids. So they didn't start speaking the language in 2 minutes. They started with word by word by word by word. Leadership skills is a new language. Imagine people around you are kids, and you need to teach them leadership skills little by little, like your kids. So, and for you to be a leader, it needs a lot of patience, right? It needs a lot of patience to teach others how to be a good leader. And you, the whole time, you are practicing to be a better leader. So it is not just you're teaching, you're practicing yourself to be so at the end of it, you be an amazing leader because you practiced so hard, so much for such a long time. But that needs a lot of patience, okay? And needs a lot of passion and energy, which you all have, okay? And what, I think Rabina asked me what inspires me, right? Rabina, you asked me who inspires me? Yes, I think you should. Yeah, yeah. You inspire me. You, like people, like the women that I'm working with in all the countries, you are inspiring me, all of you. Doesn't matter where you are, which country you are, you're inspiring me. That's my inspiration. That's why I'm here. Okay. When you learn something, when you use it in your life and your life becomes better, then I feel good about it. That's how I get inspired. Probably you as a teacher, when your students learn something and they become better, that inspires you, right? Same thing. Or when your kids, do you have kids? When your kids learn something, you feel so good about it. I'm the same way. Okay. All right, good. Okay, so let me see. I think I'm gonna keep the rest of the slides for another session because I know it is like 9 p.m. where you are, and I don't want to keep you later than an hour. So I feel like I want to end this session, but what I want to encourage everyone to do is that keep everything that we talked about, keep practicing. The only way we become better at something is practice. So please keep practicing everything and be in communication. And I want this to be available to many people. So please keep inviting your friends, okay?
Ma'am.
Yes.